All right, guys, I think this is going to be something interesting to break down here. This is from WrestleMania channel, and it's the most painful moves to take in WWE. The reason I say this is interesting is because, to me, the most painful moves to take are typically ones that didn't go right, that were botched or just delivered poorly or something like that. But if you're going to talk about, okay, everything goes completely as planned, which ones hurt the most, off the top of my head, it's typically not necessarily some big, extravagant, holy shit chant type of move. It's stuff like a nice stiff chop to the chest. Those hurt like you think those Gunther chops don't hurt? They hurt like hell. So it'll be interesting to see what the take is on this.
10 of the most painful WWE moves.
Some moves look horrific,
Goldust Shattered Dreams.
but really aren't that bad to take.
The Dreams move is a signature move of the legendary wrestler Goldust. It actually involves him trapping his opponent in the corner of the ring.
Not if he hits it right.
And then Goldust delivers a swift and forceful kick to the groin area,
Yeah,
causing immense pain and discomfort. Now, of course, you don't have to be.
But what you do, obviously, you land the kick. Whenever we would do these, you land the kick protecting the huevos. You're either off a little to one side or the other, or actually, when you got him in a corner, you cannot make contact. You can kick up and hit your foot on the turnbuckle and never really actually make contact with the groin.
A genius to figure out why this move is so painful. The groin area is highly sensitive, and having a swift strike to this area can cause immense pain.
Right there, I don't know if we can break it down. Can we go frame by frame and see here? Or we can't see his foot as it comes up. Let's see. See, Taz is sitting on the turnbuckle, and it goes out of frame. And Dustin likely kicked the turnbuckle.
Immense pain. Of course, there's a trick
Could
that
be
Goldust
just
uses to alleviate the pain.
uncomfortable, yeah,
Even
but
though
it's...
he does make contact with the groin, most of the force is in the
There you
turnbuckle
go.
behind the wrestler. Of course, Goldust could only execute this when the referee was distracted.
And you also, it's coming, so you try and sit in a position where, how do we describe this delicately? You're not taking the point of impact on the most
illegal in wrestling, as
sensitive
literally a
spot.
low blow. Technically, this is the ultimate trust between two wrestlers, as Goldust has to hit
it's
that
exactly
turnbuckle with precision. Otherwise,
trust between the wrestlers is the basis of every move you do.
For that wrestler. Number 2,
But it's just like doing the, if you'll do the nut shot from behind, you'll see how you come up and curl the arm around. Well, that's because you're going to come up and tap him in the belly, but you're not actually going to make contact with the groin, and having the arm come up and around makes it look like a strong visual. Like you really...
is a move that every wrestler uses. In fact, it's probably in a beginner's handbook of moves that wrestlers need to use. However, the beautiful thing about the clothesline is that there's different variations on how
Right, I was going to say, it depends on who's delivering it.
Is JBL's clothesline
that would hurt. I've never taken, I can guarantee it.
Always seems to take someone's head off with each hit.
Now, what JBL does, though, if you watch, and he's really good at, he collapses his whole body into it. In other words, so as much as he can, he's pushing you to the ground more than striking you.
It's a brutal move that can be effectively
And you got to put it here.
Ordinary in regular matches, it can be taken seriously as a match or career-ending finisher. What's even better about the clothesline is that it can come out of nowhere. It's a dynamic move that causes a believable shift at a moment's notice because it...
But again, the clothesline, for those of you who don't know, you deliver it here across the chest. Obviously, you don't take somebody's head off. And if you're good with your timing, you can be falling away from it as it makes contact.
Maneuver. Number 3, Apron Brain Buster, Sami Zayn. WWE's always billed the apron as the hardest part of the ring, so naturally any move that connects on the edge of the square...
Of course it is. You've got 2x8s, 2x10s, 2x12s, whatever it may be, as your main support. So the further you go away from a supported area, the more give you have.
The circle seems quite brutal. There aren't many moves that are specific for this part
that would hurt,
which makes Sami Zayn's Brainbuster stand out even more. The move is a dumbed-down version that Zayn's lost brother El Generico used on the independent scene as a turnbuckle Brainbuster. Generico passed
I didn't even know about that. Yes, that.
And though Zayn rarely uses it, every time he hits the apron Brainbuster, it sends shivers down your spine because it effectively looks like a career killer.
It looks like he's 100% right. If you're, taking a bump on the apron, yes, that's going to hurt because it's all
Pile
supported
driver or
there.
the original Brain Buster are moves that have broken necks or paralyzed opponents.
But you'll watch
If
when the
Sami Zayn
guys are
used the apron Brain
supporting
Buster
the
more
neck
often, then it wouldn't be
as
surprising
they
if
come
it
over
ended
and
up
make
on a
sure that they
bandlist like
turn
the
you.
pile
See?
driver. Due to the nasty career ending
That's
outcome,
what,
then it wouldn't be
watch how
surprising if
careful he is
paralyzed
to make sure
opponents.
he
If Sami
turns
Zayn
Kevin
used the
Owens
apron
over.
Brain Buster more often, then it wouldn't be
Didn't land
surprising
on
if
his
it
neck,
ended up
landed
a
on his
bandlist
back.
like the pile driver due to the nasty career-ending risk wrestlers could be taking.
Right.
Number 4, inadverted
No,
Alabama
that's not wrong.
Slam Drew McIntyre. This move is a bit more complex than the other moves listed thus far. The originator of the move was Hardcore Holly, who finished off his opponents using an Alabama Slam
See,
that was effective as a signature move.
I've said that before. The Alabama Slam isn't necessarily painful. If everything goes well, it's just a bump like anything else. Problem with the Alabama Slam is if somebody gets you too much force going forward, if they give you that whip snap, that's when you get the concussions because your head will snap. If they get you nice and flat, it's no biggie. I'd rather take the inverted one.
Holly's infamous finisher is
I can
more
see the mat
dangerous
coming.
due to
I can
its
protect
unpredictable
myself.
nature. Just ask Riddick Moss, who took the ugliest version of McIntyre's
Well, that's
inadverted Alabama.
That's good. Why the hell did he put his head down? That's not Drew's fault. Why is your head tucked? Your head should be up. Your hand should be out.
Simon landed squarely on his head. The move itself requires some serious strength like the razor's edge, but it also needs the wrestler taking the move to be in perfect sync when using it.
Right.
Granted, wrestlers need to be in perfect unison for every single move they use inside the squared circle.
And I think the regular Alabama Slam is
an extra level of commitment from both
more
parties to prevent a
likely to
serious
hurt you than the
McIntyre's
reverse.
Future Shock DDT and Claymore are perfect for him as finishers, but the more complex
Well, he delivers
nature of
that
the inverted
Claymore
Alabama
so well.
Slam makes it more dangerous than most WWE maneuvers. Number 5, Popup Powerbomb.
You can always tell if the wrestler lands, whether he's doing it inverted or standard, if they land nice and square to the mat, body's here, mat's here, fine.
Kevin Owens. Did you forget about the hardest part of the ring? Apply that to Kevin Owens' signature pop-up powerbomb that has sadly been relegated to signature move status. But who could forget when Owens turned on Sami Zayn in NXT and destroyed him with the powerbomb onto the apron?
That's
or even hitting
brutal.
the move on Daniel Bryan, causing panic and fear in his comeback match. When the company was pushing this,
I mean, Kevin Owens is as safe as it gets. That's a bump where if the guy agrees to do it for you, he just knows he's going to get bruised up. Wrestling's a tough business.
Positioned as a devastating career-ending move.
See, in the middle of the ring, obviously not nearly as bad as on the apron.
Screen. Number 6, DDT. The DDT is as old as time, though many credit
DDTs, again, now you're talking something that's fine, perfect, no problem to take as long as it's delivered right.
The Snake Roberts
as long as you're released.
The WWE Hall of Famer is in the same camp as
I've
CM
taken a
Punk's
DDT
GTS,
when they
where
screwed
both
it up and
wrestlers
it hurt.
make a rarely used maneuver infamous.
I was
Just like
not
the clothesline,
goofy.
The DDT is a highly dynamic move that can work as both a regular move or an electrifying finisher. There are so many different variations of the DDT, but the classic Jake Roberts maneuver is effective enough to put their opponents on the injury list. From Mick Foley, Edge, The Rock, or Drew McIntyre, driving your opponent's neck into the mat can put a permanent end to a man's career.
But again, of course, as you guys know, you release the guy, your arm hits, the head barely touches.
Shock DDT. I broke
if
my
at all.
Neck. Drew McIntyre broke my neck. It's on YouTube. It was supposed to be me and Ron Killings, and they brought him outside instead. And it was an interview, and he cut me off and hit me with a DDT with my hands behind my back. Never let go.
Oh,
I heard it crack. The DDT has lasted in professional wrestling for decades because it's a simple move that can come out of nowhere. Though it doesn't have the injury rate of a straight pile driver, it will surely leave your neck sore for the rest of the night.
Yeah, like I say, I've had that happen once where I got entirely stiffed with a DDT. And the funny thing was, it took me a while to get straight, and I was pissed when it came out. There didn't have to be a receipt because the guy who did it, his brother, was actually my tag team partner. It was during a tag match. His brother was already giving him receipts. The older brother was my partner. By the time I got up, because it went into a big melee because they were protecting me because they knew I was hurt, he was beating the living shit out of his own brother.
Can you imagine if Gunther
for screwing
his
up
opponents for an hour straight? Chops are the only move on this
chops
list
for
that won't
real.
put you out of commission permanently, but the aftermath of these
They
vicious
just sting.
you usually see the victim's chest light up like a carved turkey. And chops
Yep.
are painful. There's no cushy mat between contact, and since this is professional
100%
wrestling,
right here.
matches are supposed
Chops
to look
just
brutal
hurt.
and real. Chops are safe enough that the pain won't last very long, but that doesn't mean that your pain experience will be as soft as landing on a cloud.
Lasts a little while.
Marshmallows. Number 8, the F5. Now, there's a reason that
Really?
Brock Lesnar's F5 has remained his primary finisher. The move looks downright deadly.
It does,
Who
but
could
that's an
forget one
easy
of the
bump to
bloodiest and
take.
most violent beatdowns that resulted in Lesnar F5ing a one-legged Zach Gowen into a steel post.
All right,
Former
that's
WWE champion's
going to leave
entire
a
moniker
leave a
is that
mark.
He's an unstoppable beast, so the company has done segments that made the F5 the ultimate finisher. The F5 is really an inverted flapjack, but the spinning and height Lesnar gets on his opponents makes
Makes
the
it
move
look
seem more
really
brutal
good,
and
but that's not
unforgiving.
a bad bump to
In fact,
take.
Road Dogg told a funny story on his Oh You Didn't Know podcast
At
about
all,
the
that
F5
type of
that
bump.
didn't particularly end well for his nose and private parts.
Here's how I controlled myself. If you can watch the video, I got to his leg and I literally fell down and I'm holding his leg. So all I knew he had to do was scoop me up. And then this was a running joke for a long time after this. You'll see
no.
I hit my nose and my private part on the ring really hard on both of them. If you're wondering, my nose did hit first. But like it hurt so bad. The bump was fine, but like my nose and my privates hurt
That's
so
pretty
bad.
good.
And so then it was like a running rib where Vince would make fun of me after that. Like, maybe Brock could F5 you again.
Number 9, Bret's turnbuckle.
That's pretty good. I wouldn't
is
mind taking
the
that,
best there was and the best
especially
there ever
not
will
taking
be.
it from somebody like Brock Lesnar, who you know has plenty of strength to get you up in the air and let you see the mat coming at you.
Is highly regarded amongst his peers when it comes to protecting his opponents inside the
Yeah,
ring.
that was
Not
a
only
great
that, but
catch
Bret
right
went
there.
out of his way to make his opponents look good. There are plenty of notable tricks Bret Hart had up his sleeves to grab the fans' attention, with one of them being his signature bump where he rams his sternum into the turnbuckle.
I always liked that.
Bret Hart
He
has
made that
discussed
look
this spot in the
so
past,
brutal.
recalls it happening around his Stampede days. The first time he did it, Bret didn't particularly have the strength to turn around and hit the corner with his back, so he took to the face. He did this bump a couple of times and noticed that fans gasped every time he did it, so it became a regular spot in a good portion of his matches.
Yeah, and that's, I mean,
Always
you're under control. I've taken, because due to Bret Hart, I've taken a bump straight onto the turnbuckle. I shouldn't say that. Guys have done that aside from Bret. Bret was just made it famous because he made it look so good. But it's not that rough. You know, you catch yourself. It's just like making contact with your head with the turnbuckle.
Brutal, and it's the incredible selling of the hit.
You make some contact and then sell it.
His sternum legitimately could have been crushed in this spot. That particular bump grabbed the attention by the throat and commanded their attention from that point
Well,
on.
Bret just
There's a reason
sold
why
it
many
so
consider him
well.
the best technical wrestler on the planet, as the WWE Hall of Famer understood the psychology of the business and put it to great use in every one of his matches.
Oh, he's 100%
let's face
right
it,
the way he
sell
breaks
would have
that
been
down.
So good because it actually would have been painful
He-
to do.
He
And number
just,
10,
man,
the
he makes
Bonsai
that
drop.
look good.
The Bonsai drop is always a risky
That's
move.
a risky
While the
move,
is
yes.
harmless if you weigh less than 100 pounds, a guy like The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin was never caught dead using the maneuver. These maneuvers were mainly used by super heavyweights like Yokozuna. Billed at
But
600 pounds, this WWE
Yokozuna
Hall of
was
Famer made this
surprisingly
mission
athletic
for The
and in
Rock
control.
reasons
See, that's
sometimes.
perfect
One of
control.
those reasons is when
Perfect
Yokozuna nearly
control.
popped a guy's ribcage
Oh,
with a
that wasn't-
Bonsai drop,
Oh,
but
his feet
surprisingly
slipped.
didn't paralyze the jobber for life.
Oh.
There are rumors that it was an accident, though. There were also rumors that it was on
Oh.
purpose because Yokozuna didn't like the guy. What?
Really? I can't imagine. That, anything's possible. That looks to me like his feet slipped, doesn't it, to you guys?
Surprisingly,
That
didn't
do-
paralyze the jobber for life. There are rumors that it was an accident, though. There were also rumors that it was on purpose because Yokozuna didn't like the guy.
I can't imagine
Whatever
him
the
doing
case
that
may
to...
be, the move has always had the potential
that was
to cause
pretty
some
stiff.
serious harm to the chest and rib cage. Mabel crushed Diesel's back doing his version in a
Oh.
SummerSlam 95 match for the WWE Championship. Now Nia Jax uses
He
this
didn't-
move as a finisher.
all he did
If
is
there's
lay
no
on
news
him.
reported so
I mean,
far,
he just
hopefully
jumped on
it
him.
Stays that way. Well, there you have it, folks. Be sure to leave a
That
comment
was a
below.
good list.
See you next time with
Yeah, that bonsai drop thing, that's one that can go wrong really easy. If you got somebody who's really good, if they land hard feet, catch their balance for just an instant and sit on you, it makes you go, oof. But it always makes me think back, guys. Hillbilly cousin Luke, I don't know if you remember him, his real name was Gene. Good guy, great guy, wrestled with us a lot in the indies. Near the end of his wrestling days, I don't know how much he weighed, had to be in the 500-pound neighborhood, but he was just so beat. You know, he'd gotten older, he couldn't really move, so he had to finish you with that splash. Well, he couldn't support himself anymore. You know, when you do a splash, you'll leap out, touch hands and knees first. Wrestlers are typically biggest across chest, so you're going to make some contact, but if you get your hands and knees out there, it definitely takes the heat off. Gene couldn't do that anymore. He'd just bounce off the rope and he'd land on you. So, yes, when you get a 500-pound man just poof, onto your chest, it knocks the wind out of you. You remember it for a while. That bonsai drop, like that one Yokozuna did to that jobber, yeah, he's lucky he's still walking around.